In Abuja, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Still staying with the Ministry of Youth and Development, the Minister of State for Youth and Development, Ayodele Olawande, has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for strengthening student loans bill with new inclusions to cover initially excluded students group and by giving quick assent to the bill. Olawande, in a statement, noted that by assenting to the Students' Loan Act, President Tinubu has shown that he is not just talking about investing in the future, but also committed to making it happen. While encouraging young people to take advantage of the opportunity, the minister added that with the future of Nigeria looks bright, as the law is a game changer in the nation's educational system. He further stated that the law will go a long way to open up a world of opportunities for all Nigerian students and young people looking to pursue higher education and skills development. The minister said, and I quote, "This new law creates the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, to support students financially so they can study without worrying about tuition and other school-related expenses. To every young person willing to dream and aspire, this law is your invitation to step up, get educated, and contribute to the growth and development of our dear nation." He, however, pledged that the Ministry of Youth Development will work closely with NEL Fund to ensure that the law is effective and that the youth of Nigeria derive maximum benefits that will aid their quest for quality and knowledge. We'll take another break now. Don't go away. Glad to know you're still there. The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has expressed appreciation to the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, for its passion and commitment in the programs of the scheme, especially towards achieving a credible and seamless mobilization process. Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General Yushau Ahmed, said this when he received the management team from JAM led by Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede in his office in Abuja. The NYSC boss said the partnership between the two organizations have come a long way and must continue to build on it to achieve their goals in the interest of national development. On his part, Registrar of JAM said both organizations must be proactive in their activities so as to prevent unscrupulous persons from infiltrating JAM database and NYSC mobilization processes. The JAM registrar also noted that the board will provide its list of registered candidates for NYSC so as to harmonize and fish out unqualified candidates that may fraudulently present themselves for mobilization for national service. Now, an expert on patriotism and a legal practitioner, guests on NTA News24 Nigeria today are expressing concerns over increasing culture of naira mutilation in Nigeria, saying the naira note, being a national symbol, deserves the respect of all citizens. While David Akoji, Director of Special Duties National Orientation Agency, NOA, frowned at the age-long and unwholesome practice despite an intense campaign on values of naira, Greg Iyaye, legal practitioner, speaks on the legal implication of naira mutilation.
And around the world, countries hold their national symbols as sacred. You know, they revere these national symbols and they protect them. Unfortunately, it seems not to be the same for us here. We ought to also think of how this impacts negatively on the coming generation. It's a culture that's been passed from generation to generation to generation and seems to want to continue like that.
People have to be naira, people, burial, baby, marriages. You see them buying and selling the naira. So it's kind of thing. And it's punishable as much as 5 years without option of fine.
This also explains what can be done to curb naira mutilation in the country.
I would like a situation where people are actually brought to book. You know, it's not, we have enough laws. Let these laws, I don't know why police will be in an occasion And if you're looking at people like this, you get them arrested, and then you charge them to court, or you charge them to court.
Someone who is coordinating.
On the 16th of November 2023, delivering ruling on the corruption case, Chairman Code of Conduct Tribunal Justice Nladi Umar established that the tribunal has the competence and jurisdiction to hear the case. He explained that Muhuyi Magaji cannot continue to discharge the duties and responsibilities of his office while facing trial. This is to avoid any interference on the case, hence the suspension pending the conclusion of the trials. However, the case has been adjourned till the 7th and 8th of May 2024 for hearing. Now, autism is one of the health challenges that people are grappling with in the world, Nigeria inclusive. As such, April every year is set aside as World Autism Month. It is meant to create more awareness on autism and ways to manage, support and advocate for autistic people. Now, joining me via Zoom from Kano to shed more light on autism is Dr. Halima Adamu, Pediatrician Neurology Unit, Department of Pediatrics, Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital. Thanks, Dr. Halima, for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, let's get straight into it. Let's begin by asking you, or you telling us, what is autism?
Okay, let me try to just simplify it. Autism is a disorder of language and communication, social relation, and interaction. So children that have this disease, they don't have language and communication, they don't interact, and they don't socialize. So in a simple description, that's what autism is.
How prevalent is autism in Nigeria?
Hello?
Prevalent is autism in Nigeria today?
Autism in Nigeria? Yeah, we see children with autism from various parts of the country. It exists. It has no gender predilection. It has no racial predilection. And we do see a lot of children coming down with autism these days. So there has been this programs to raise awareness, accept them, include them, and then help them, give them support as they are.
You just said, earlier from your definition, explanation of what autism is, you said is a speech disorder. Now, how challenging is it in the healthcare delivery system to manage autism, seeing the patient or an autistic person can find it hard to communicate?
Yes, usually these children are brought by their parents, so the problem of the communication begins at home, even in the environment, before coming to the hospital. Their parents, the caregivers, the relation, they find it difficult to interact with them. So there's a way we recognize them and we identify them. And most of the question will be towards the interaction will be with the parents. And then we try to help them in a way that their communication improves.
All right. Now, do we have sufficient personnel to handle autistic cases or autism in Nigeria?
I would say no. We have so many, it's a multidisciplinary approach. The condition needs so many special.
What does it seek to address?
Yeah, it seeks to address increasing awareness. That's more people to know about the disease, know how to identify them, recognize them, and then accept them into the community, because there are misconceptions here and there in some places where these children, they might be abused, they might be rejected because of their nature. Maybe some children were abused because it is felt that they refuse to communicate, they refuse to cooperate, they refuse to socialize. Meanwhile, it is a disability in them, it is not their doing. So such children are prone to abuse. So we want people to be aware of them, to be able to accept them, and then work towards supporting them, give all the necessary support to rehabilitate them, and then bring them back to the community to live a normal life to their own, at least certain level of normal life, so that they are able to attain something also in their lives.
And just out of curiosity, is there a major or particular cause of autism?
Well, yeah, that's not a curiosity. It's a very good question, actually. The actual particular one cause to autism, for instance, you say malaria is caused by this parasite. For autism, there is no such particular thing that you say this is the sole etiology of the autism, but there are so many factors that are attributed to it. Number one, the
Right, we seem to have a little bit of a network glitch there. Dr. Halima, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Now, moving on to security matters. Now, proper awareness on the implementation of the whole of society security strategy is critical to ensuring timely support from the citizens to the military. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tawid Lakwaja, stated this at the 20 hours lectures series.
Can go to war not only because
it's the maiden edition of the Chief of Army Staff lecture at the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Abuja, with focus on the role of the military in the protection of Nigeria's national interests and security. Funding gaps and inadequate manpower are among challenges the Army Chief believes are surmountable.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's assenting to the DICON Act is the right step in the right direction. However, given the number of positive issues covered in the Act, from the involvement of the private sector and taxing of all defense contracts to raise funds, implementation must be given the impetus it deserved.
His views resonate among other speakers at the event.
What are we faced with today? Insecurity. It keeps getting better, and then it goes bad, then it gets better, and so on and so forth. Not until we achieve an environment of peace that greater things can happen.
This particular program is meant to look at the national issues, and that's why we're starting with the chairman of the Board of Trustees. Let him look at the roles of the armed forces in national security and national interest.
I want to assure you all that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is passionate about the development of security in our nation, and he will definitely do his best to work on those challenges so mentioned today.
Streamlining multi-agency collaboration in combating security challenges is critical as government is adopting a whole-of-society approach to tackle security issues. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Major General Adamu Laka has resumed office as the new National Coordinator, National Counter-Terrorism Center of National Security Advisor. Until his appointment, he was a special advisor to the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu.
Nigeria and the world in general are facing the threats of terrorism. This is the time to solve this problem.
I would like to appreciate the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for giving me the opportunity to serve in this great capacity.
The outgoing pioneer coordinator, National Counter-Terrorism Center, Rear Admiral Yaminu Musa, was appointed in 2022. The Nigerian Air Force has unveiled plans to mark 60 years of its existence and steadfast service in the defense of Nigeria's territorial integrity. the commemorative event with the theme Nigerian Air Force at 60, leveraging strategic partnerships in aerospace innovations for regional security, will commence with a series of activities in mid-May 2024 and will include a 2-day international conference and exhibition. Chiefs of air staff from other countries, prominent figures in the defense, aviation and aerospace industries, as well as other stakeholders are expected to grace the occasion to foster dialogue and cooperation towards advancing aviation capabilities across the continent. The event will then culminate in the ceremonial parade and aerial display to be held at the NAF base Kaduna on 25th May 2024. We will continue to preempt criminal activities, disrupt their illicit networks, and apprehend perpetrators swiftly, says the Inspector General of Police. This is the resolution at the Nigeria Police Force Strategic Managers Conference for the second quarter of 2024 Abuja. Francis Form reports.
It is another Strategic Managers Conference of the Force for second quarter of 2024 with about 156 participants. The meeting is to review Force operational activities in the first quarter, assess the impact on the nation's internal security, and fine-tune their courses of action and strategies towards achieving a better civil space going forward.
Let us continue to stand united in our resolve to uphold the principles of integrity, professionalism, and excellence in all our endeavors.
IGP Kayode Egbetokun at the conference read out some of the achievements of the force in the last 8 weeks with regards to combating all forms of crimes across the country.
The Nigerian Police Force arrested 3,685 suspects for their participation in various crimes. 401 kidnapped victims were rescued, 216 various firearms, 3,301 ammunition, and 82 vehicles were recovered.
The abduction and killings of 6 police operatives during a special operation at Evil Forest in Ughelli North local government area of Delta State, the welfare of police personnel, and the use of PR tools in policing were on the front burner for deliberation. Similarly, the force assured of its determination to remain vigilant and adaptive in its approach while continuously refining its strategies to remain ahead of evolving threats. Francis from NTA News.
Now, in what seemed to be an effective strategy in the fight against trailer crashes, Federal Road Safety Corps Interagency Joint Task Force has arrested 35 trailers conveying 982 passengers. Let's hear from Oyeyemi Ajayi.
It will be recalled that recently the Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Dauda Alibio established an interagency joint task force against conveyance of humans with animals and goods by trailers. Obviously, it's evident that it's not business as usual with the recent arrest of 35 trailers conveying 982 passengers. A total of 19 trailers carrying 810 people were apprehended at the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, while the Joint Task Force team covering Bauchi-Maiduguri General Operation Area of the Corps also arrested 16 trailers conveying 172 passengers on that route. These arrests were perfected within the first 1 week of operation. While the special operation is going on, the Corps Marshal has directed sector commanders of the states where the act is more prominent to sustain ongoing engagement with the leadership of road transport unions as well as owners of articulated vehicles to ensure that drivers who engage in such traffic violations are cautioned. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Building a world where disadvantaged, especially women, are heard, protected and empowered economically and politically for panacea for sustainable national development. This was brought to the fore by stakeholders at the 2024 State Foundation Advocacy Program organized for the advancement and positioning of more women in business and leadership positions across Nigeria. Thomas Ogbetere reports that the program was in collaboration with Tuned Stage Empowerment Foundation in partnership with NTA News24 and other organizations in Abuja.
Women in Nigeria are most times discriminated against in different ways. These types of discrimination often stand as impediments to maximizing their full potentials. For this reason, stakeholders have converged on Abuja to deliberate on ways of mitigating these challenges. One of the guest speakers, Patience Okolo-Dixon, is a chartered accountant, and she narrated her ordeal in her formative years.
Everybody have challenges. It's just that for us, as women and as women with disability, we have more challenges. So one way to start is for you to first of all look at yourself and look at your strong points. Take it from your strong point. That is the only way that is one of the ways that you can actually sum up the challenges around you.
There is no limitation for any human being, and if you think your gender can limit you, you can think again, because that is not right. You need to first of all look inward and then project your positivity.
Panel of discussants at the event also noted that skills building initiative for the future and support for women who aspire for leadership position will go a long way in achieving the objective.
We'll talk about women inclusion in terms of policy making, or in terms of empowerment. Talk about women also in terms of business.
The woman is created with the same kind of package as a human being as that of a man. And so the potential to do business and to prosper on business is equally there.
The gathering is hopeful that with access to funds and other forms of support, a lot of women would achieve their dreams just like Patience Okolo-Dixon. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
The true essence of religion setting the tune for community and global peace is gradually taking its front seat and putting everyone on the mode of natural compliance without sentiments. This played out during an interfaith breaking of the 25th countdown to the end of the 2024 Ramadan fast organized by the Al-Habibia Islamic Society in Abuja. Tokwe Alavi reports.
Christianity and Islam have been inseparable from time immemorial, sharing love and charity together, but avoidable situations now threaten the bond.
Habibiyah means pivot of love.
This is what Al-Habibia Islamic Society is changing, using the holy month of Ramadan as a unique platform to exemplify tolerance and love, using the instrument of iftar.
One of the essence of Ramadan is that it guarantees peace and tranquility in the world. If it guarantees peace and tranquility, does peace and tranquility is meant only for the Muslims?
The three Abrahamic religions all agree with the same account of creation. The Bible says God created one man and one woman, and there's a name, Adam and Eve.
All stakeholders, I want to appeal to you, I want to appeal to our politicians to be careful with what they do and what they say. Don't break this country.
In the Surah 5, Ayat 48, it was not intention of God, Allah, to make us one religion or one tribe. That's one in Surah Al-Ma'idah. It's a beautiful verse.
Everybody enjoy peace. It's good for the mind and for the soul and for the body.
To leaders of religious adherents, the interfaith approach to peace should be sustained for a greater understanding of Allah's love for mankind.
Respect everybody in their place of worship, respect everybody's religion and their way of life, and pray for everyone.
This is a very wonderful fellowship that Nigeria needs, especially at this time.
NTA News.
And let's head to Ogun State, where the governor, Dapo Abiodun, has taken the distribution of palliatives to religious centers across the state, promising more interventions to bring succor to the people. Yemi Dalemo reports that religious centers across the 4 divisions of the state benefited from the gesture.
Clerics from the 4 divisions of Ogun State converge on Abeokuta, the state capital, to receive the food items for onward distribution to faithfuls in their various communities. The State Governor Dapo Abiodun representative says government is committed to poverty alleviation through various interventions, including the distribution of food items to the people. The governor also visited some Christian religious worship centers and mosques where he presented food items to the worshippers. The exercise took place simultaneously in the 4 divisions of Egba, Remo, Yewa and Ijebu areas of the state.
I really want to commend the government, especially the governor, for considering the people and giving out this palliative.
With what he has provided for the people in our community, they will be able to be happy.
I think they should be doing this more to help the poor masses. The masses are suffering because of the economic situation. So I think they should be doing it from time to time.
Thank His Excellency for always thinking about the welfare of the people. We know that things are not very easy, but we're trying all our best.
The beneficiaries who appreciated the government's kindness urged the state government to ensure that rural dwellers across the state also benefit from the gesture. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thank you for watching. I am Frama Pani.